Good morning and welcome in, everybody. As we transition into this morning in the new start of another month, we'll not only look at what's happened in the last 24 hours, the micro look going forward for XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, but we'll also look how that monthly candle close looked. We'll look to see how we start this month because it's probably edging on the point of a brutal close. Had some upward volatility, failed that $2.29 mark, failed to hold the $2.23 uptrend support. Also fell below 2.6, not quite 216, but we're edging towards that positioning. So we're going to be very cautious here and see that inverse head and shoulders. We have a chance of invalidating this if we start to come down here. Short-term inverse head and shoulders played out like it should have in this pass and this little setup. The wider one, however, the fact we didn't break out and hold 223, ultimately 225 over the top, which would have been that resistance area that could hold and put us to 265 area. That has short-term failed. We've reversed back through, and at that volume portfolio, we sold out what we bought in. So that's not exactly the greatest sign. When you look at this underneath, we've come firmly below that $2.23 support structure. And I dare say if it's below that and you're not a holder, there's no reason to buy it. If you're a holder, you have to make educated decisions. If it's below that uptrend, obviously, if that happens and this stays confluent, $1.92 is going to be that downward support on the pattern breakout support. But you cannot keep going back there without thinking it's not going to fall through. The other thing that is working against us this morning, which it works for us if you trade the way I do, precious metals are rallying this morning. Gold's up 1.38% or $46 an ounce roughly to $3,349. I said last night on Friday that the commodities, the actual mining stocks, were calling bullshit on the drop in gold and silver. And even though yesterday was going to be volatile to the downside, or Friday was volatile to the downside, yesterday was a nice recovery. And today seems to be building on that for mining stocks. Silver's up almost 0.5% to $36.22. It's pretty cool. So it's starting to make that little rally. We'll see if we follow through. But this certainly seems like sound money. People are finding more of a utilization in safe money, which would be risk on and risk off assets, gold and silver, commodities, precious metals, mining stocks, things like that pay a dividend. As to where risk assets, people kind of exited stage left in the last 24 hours. Had a nice little rally. Even Bitcoin down to 106,600 area, rotated right back down. Hit the logical resistance, which I drew up there and said if it doesn't break this area, that would be a triple, another top there. And now we're with the optics. Are we going to fall below this? Right now in the hourly, I'm not too concerned, but the 2 hourly, do we hold above here at 106,000, which I talked about that gap that was left by Bitcoin last week. And it did us a disservice by not coming back down there and filling it. Now we're coming back down there. Now the question is, does this create topside liquidity with top? Which essentially, we'll see if we do break back down. But if this doesn't hold up, you'd start coming back towards the uptrend at 101.8K. And then ultimately, I still think that Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME gap, is very much in play. Very much in play. But we'll see how this plays out. We'll see if we can get some positive momentum here now that the day is going on. It definitely did not start the way you would want it to start for a volatile swing at the mid-turn of the week because we're in, turnaround Tuesday, so to say. But we'll see how this plays out. Everything kind of reversed pretty hardcore. DGB's down 4%. ZIL's down 3.4%. XDC down just about 1%. XLM's down 1.4%. Over the top, you got IOTA down another 3.7%. Definitely one I'm watching as it starts to send its way down. ALGO's down 1.4%. As I talked in the Telegram and said, even though it's over the top, it technically put in a reversal. So if you're in it, it's all about, you got to make an educated decision. Looks like it's still in that bullish consolidation. But at the same time, it looks like it's going to come back and back to 1668 area. We looked at 17.3 the other day, but now as it continues to come down, as the days go on, that's what it's starting to show. So good morning. 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So for the ones who were here yesterday, not only did my update, but also my live got taken down overnight. It said I did not receive any strikes, so I don't have to worry about any kind of suspension, so I was able to put on my content as normal. It's a tad bit frustrating, but it is what it is. When you put out real information, I expect people to get mad. I expect them to report the content. And, you know, you got Johnny-come-latelys. And, you know, you got Nancy in the audience who just can't fathom the truth. So if you were here, whether they take it down or not, you still get the information. It doesn't matter. You were here during the live. You were part of the... Because the live had 1,500 views last night already. And the update had over 1,700. So they were doing... They had quite good traction. And could have kept us ahead of the potential here. So... the live last night was targeted at the fact that XRP needed to pass $2.29 major resistance level / pivot point. Otherwise, this was going to become bearish. And then we had to hold $2.23 underneath. Otherwise, it could start a fresh drop. And unfortunately, we dropped below there. And now we'll see what the morning has in store. The U.S. is waking up 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. So this is where we start to see the fireworks. I put out a short this morning on my way to the gym about 7:55 a.m., so almost 2 hours ago. I like to start my day early. As I'm walking to the gym, when I get close, I do my update, the short. When I get home, I do the longer update here. That's usually anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. Today, I don't know how long it'll be. It'll be as long as it takes. And then at night, if you stay tuned at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I like to do a live. I'll do a short before the live now just to tell everybody the live is coming up. And just give them the parameters, and if they want to know more, they can watch the live. And then now my son today has therapy at 12 o'clock for his food therapy. So I'll do another short at that point. So you'll get 4 or 5 updates / shorts / lives today. And it'll help keep us in line. I very highly encourage you, if you haven't gone to the website yet, my website, XRPFutureMillionaire.com, give it a shot. It's still in beta. It's about 85% done. You'll see new things every single day. The only thing I'm working on right now is to do the live API so that I can do lives right on the web page. Everything else, it's very integrated. It cost me, in totality for this website, for the 5 years of services, you know, the 5 years of the website, the integration I've done with live APIs and all this good stuff to help with the website management, just so that it'll be professional. It's cost me probably $6,000 - $7,000 to make this the way it is. And I want it all-inclusive. I don't want any lagging. So I have a dedicated server. I've got a lot of stuff about me, a lot of different tokens. Even if it isn't a world of manipulation, I still see opportunity. Some people misrepresented what I said yesterday, and they're like, oh, so you're just buying XRP because you're XRP Future Millionaire. It's like, listen to the content instead of running your mouth. That would be the number one thing I can say. As far as the spammers, a lot of people are being spammed with the imitators of me. They're telling them to copy trade with them, or they're telling them to send them money. 1, I'd never tell you to send me money. 2, I never send you a personal message. 3, if you're copy trading, why would you send the money to their exchange? They're telling people to copy trade me. You have to send money to the exchange, and then they'll trade for you. That's not how copy trading works. 1, I would tell you before you send anybody money, learn the ups and downs of copy trading so you don't get scammed. Because you don't send me money. Even when I copy traded, it's going through your own personal exchange. You're just literally copying my trades. That's it. It does it automatically. You don't send me money. It's through your own portfolio. I don't know how much money you put in. I don't know how much money you're using following me, if and when that was happening. I cut it out because so many people were getting scammed. Instead of doing it the appropriate steps, they tried to make easy money. Like the guarantee of easy money. You know, so again, I will never message you. I will never ask you to send me money. Don't I put all my content out for free? Don't 99.9% of my audience never send a single dollar unless it's a scammer? Like, that's the part of it that's a bit frustrating. Like, if you want to support my work, go for it. But, you know, I don't ask for any monetary donation. If you want to join Tom's Army for the $9.99 a month, because I come here every day since March 24th of 2021, and guaranteeingly, if you've been watching, you've made a boatload or you saved a boatload. There's no in between if you're watching what I say. I don't give you the fluff. I give you the truth. And I know that offends a lot of people, the Karens especially. But, you know, I can only be who I am. And if you report my content, so be it. I'll just be back the next day. It's fine. If you get me banned off of here, I have my website. I can go over to Facebook and put more dedicated content. I can put more dedicated content to TikTok and make exactly what I make on YouTube. It's not like I'm making, you know, a killing through the YouTube stuff. A couple $1,000s maybe here and there. If I have the right kind of content, I can make a few thousand a month between the people who support my content, which is vastly underappreciated. You know, 0.4% of you actually support my work, which is fine. I don't need you to monetarily support it, but I also don't need you to misrepresent what I do. So if you're falling for scammers, educate. If somebody's guaranteeing you easy money, they're a scammer. Somebody tells you to send them money through copy trading, they're a scammer. I would never even ask you to do that. And for bottom line, if you're copy trading, you don't send it to the person's exchange. That's not what copy trading is. You're being Ponzi schemed. A copy trade is literally that. You're copy trading me. I never see your account. You literally just link it to a trade if I was a copy trader, which I'm not. Because too many people are being misled because the promise of easy money by scammers, it's just too great for some. There is no easy money. If somebody's promising you to make you money, they're full of shit. I don't guarantee you anything. I tell you, if you follow what I do, you're going to be fine. If you trade the way I do, you'll be fine. And I can tell you that because I've added zeros in front of you over the last 4 years. Not because I'm bragging, not because I'm flexing, because the only flex I have is the flex that I don't give a fuck about what everybody else says. That's my flex. My flex to you is I'm going to give you the truth regardless. If my content gets taken down, I've had 4 pieces of content in the last week taken down because people just can't stomach it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So with XRP, and we'll see how long this stays up. I don't know. But as long as it's up, it's worth watching. So XRP's looking at this $2.23 range. We're desperately trying not to fall through because if we do, it's going to open up this drop down towards $1.92. Coming back below 223 isn't the greatest. Now, we could back test it this morning. If we lose the 200-day and the 30-minute, it's going to be a rough start this morning. Nothing's been invalidated yet. It's just, you know, when you start to come down towards these levels, it starts to get a little dangerous. That's all. You know, you don't want to invalidate some of these structures. So it's one of those things. The 4-hourly has an engulfing candle at the downside that made a new low. There's still 2 hours and 22 minutes left in this candle. It does have a golden cross in the 4-hourly. But the way it came back down, we need to see if it holds us and then further pushes out. You know, it looks like it could be a tricky day for risk assets, but you never really know. You won't know until the trading day starts. There's a lot of collusion, you know, a lot of manipulation here. So, you know, a lot of fake trading bots and algorithms, and then the off channels and, you know, the paper trades where there's not actually any money moving hands. It's just a bunch of IOUs. That's something we're dealing with right now. It's just the way it goes. Even though XRP started breaking out, one thing that was missing was volume. Which, again, we don't know how to make stock in that anymore because with all the paper trading, it's not going to show up in volume. So there can be a lot of things behind the scenes. What it feels like, though, across the market is as we continue to advance, it feels like we're going to hit that anticlimactic moment where all of the institutions are these top-heavy buyers. And with the liquidation that comes from retail, it's almost like step by step by step, they're slowly draining us. They're slowly draining us, despite all of this institutional money, supposedly, despite all of this positive momentum. Every time we go up, we end up lower than we started. Like this last turnaround, XRP was at 265. Granted, it came down to $1.98, $1.94. But we're nowhere near coming back to that 265 drop point. Hell, we can't even get over 229 since the drop. And what I mean is we came all the way up here to 265 on May 15th. So just 6 weeks ago. Came all the way down to a mesh point at $1.91. Now we're struggling to even get back up to that old resistance. Like even coming all the way back around, we come to 232, immediately drop back to 219. The back test didn't need to go back that far for the fair value gap. XRP created one at $2 and around 11 cents. I mean, $2.21. So there was no reason to even come all the way down here initially, unless the pattern's going to bust. So that's why I'm nervous right now about the pattern. I talked about it yesterday, that I'm nervous that so many people are going to get trapped. I've said it in my shorts. I said it again in the short this morning that my fear is that a bunch of people are going to buy into all this green when it was going green, and then they're going to just ride it down to the fair value gap or the Chicago Mercantile Exchange gap, the CME gap on Bitcoin, because these gaps are there for a reason. If I was a betting man, I would say that this is all on a quicksand, and this whole house of cards is about to collapse. You can never be certain, but big opportunities are coming. Whether I believe this market's manipulated on paper trading or trading algorithms and bots, which I know they are, or I more, articulate it like I did yesterday, which got both of my pieces of content down. Hey, I can only give you what I can give you. I can only tell you my story. If you don't like my story, there's a lot of other stories that are fake on YouTube that you can go watch that'll make you feel good in the heart and to make you feel better. Because they might be speaking your language of nonsense. Because if you're not listening to my language right now, you don't care. I'm not saying what I think is going to happen. I'm showing you what the charts are telling me to think are going to happen. There's two completely distinct different things. So it is what it is. So sometimes we have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Do I want to know the truth or do I want to be misled? And if you want to know the truth, you're going to stay right here. Another thing YouTube did that was interesting is it showed me yesterday at one point a certain amount of subscribers, and after they took those two pieces of content down, those subscribers went away. So the subscribers I gained through those pieces of content went away, which was ironic. So I don't know what that was all about, but it's almost as if my my tracks yesterday disappeared besides my short. So, I can't help being shadow banned. All I can ask is for my beautiful audience to hit that like button to the 44,700 of you are still around. Hit that bell notification. Share this on social media. Try to get the word out. Try to help advance this content because there's nobody else who does it the way I do. There's some others that are good with the information, but nobody can do it exactly like we do it here. And I've been bombarded so much and I know why I'm getting banned on all this content. I've been being reached out to about the last, especially month and a half since I went over 40,000 subscribers. And the amount of partnerships and sponsorships and the amount of people that want to take over this channel and have a co-op to where they run the content. I'm just an entity. They pay me a certain salary, which is an extraordinary salary. Let me not kid you. I'd be making about 10 times more than I'm making on YouTube right now. So it is enticing. But then I would have to do a general dynamic to where they tell me what to do. They tell me what to say. They tell me what to share. They tell me what to sponsor. They tell me where to tell you to trade. All this good stuff. They tell me what tokens to tell you to trade on top of XRP. I get a fair cut of about 100 to 150,000 tokens per advancement. And then I sell it once it gets to a certain number, and then you guys would spare the burden. That's blood money. I don't want to do that. So that's what I fight with every single day, are these entities that want to take this station over that you've seen in every other station on YouTube. You can figure it out. Even BCB, the one that you respect the most, that you bring that in here all the time, has fallen in line with these people because they're running the same show that I could be running. So just consider that when you're in here, and when you come in here, keep that open mindset that I have not sold out. So you're going to see the truth when many others, 99% of my peers, have sold out when they got to my point. So make it to where I don't want to sell out. Give me a reason to give you the information. And you know what that reason is? You stay loyal and you keep watching. You don't have to send money. You don't have to join Tom's Army. You don't have to trade. All you have to do is watch and share this and respect the community and show integrity. That's all. Hit the like button like Julie said. Because I could just as easily turn this into a sham and make 6, 7, 8, 9 figures a year easy. No, I mean easy through YouTube. Where I'm at now, I've done all the dirty work to where I could literally sell out right now. And the amount of money they're throwing my way, you guys would throw up the fact I'm not taking it. But like I say, there's blood money and real money. I don't need that money. I do just fine. I live well below my means where I don't need to take that. Sure, if I would have bought a house I can't afford, or if I would live somewhere or do things I can't afford, maybe I would take it like others. But that's not who I am. So if there's one thing you get out of this update, I'm being bombarded with people that want me to sell my soul right now. And I'll let you read between the lines. So it's up to me and up to all of you to keep this community cleansed and keep it righteous. Don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, religious or not. That's why I say it to my audience. Because you have to believe in the higher power of something greater than yourself to have that great integrity to show that compassion, to show that humility. And if nothing else in this update this morning, you hear the sincerity in my voice. I am being bombarded by the wrong side of town right now. I am being bombarded by the devil right now. Because when God favors you, as Tyson said a long time ago, Mike Tyson, when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. I never understood what that meant when I was younger, but as I grew, I understood. The more success you have, the more reach you have, the more of an audience you have, the more inviting the devil becomes, because the opportunities become greater. And the reality is there's so many people that are willing to eat off of your audience, and they hope you're willing to eat, not with them, but eat because of them, which means that they want me to take your portfolio by lying to you about all this other stuff, and I just don't have it in me. So I ignore them, don't even respond to them. I've gotten thousands of messages the last month, and they really want to take this show, and they were going to pay for the website. They were going to do all this integrative shit. They were going to pay to make this station one of the most publicized. Like, literally, I could go from 40,000 subscribers to 400,000 in probably a year, based on what the guarantees were. And the amount of money that they were guaranteeing is pretty out of this world. You're talking I'd go from 6 figures this. It'd be pretty interesting. You go from 6 figures to 9 figures very quickly. Probably in a calendar year. That's how quickly I could do it with that kind of nonsense. So that is as truthful as I can be. If this is cut again because they don't want me to put out the truth, so be it. The website will be done soon. You don't have to pay for it. I'm making it all free. It all comes out of pocket. So if you do want to advance and you want to show some support, you can always join Tom's Army. You can send us a YouTube Super Chat. You can send PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. But that is never required. And in fact, I'd rather you join BitUnix. Learn how to trade. BitUnix, I don't care about the rest. Yeah, LBank I can use for certain things. Crypto.com for the Crypto Visa debit card. The Telegram's on there. There's Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. BitUnix, lowest spot and leverage trading fees, lowest maker taker. You can trade with confidence, like literally put your XRP on there, and if you want to buy and sell, go for it. If you don't want to sit through all the bullshit, go for it. You just got to be smart. If you want to put anything else on there that's available, you can do you. Bitcoin down to 529 points. Got rejected up here once again. With that rejection, if that's a top 1, 2, 3, like we drew out there, that would be the rounding top if it happened, and now it's starting to round. Next area that you would come to is around 102,000, 103,000, we'll call it. And then just below that would be 101,500. If that breaks, you're looking at about 91,800 on that CME gap. But again, today we're going to have to watch, see how this plays out. That's all I got this morning before I say something more. Thank you all for the time. Thank you for listening to this 23 minutes. But just consider what I said. I'm fighting against the immorals right now. And I'm being ganged up on by all of these other entities. So that's why it's becoming more difficult to keep my content out, because they are fighting with me tooth and nail, and they're trying to show me their power right now to say, hey, join us and you won't have to worry about this nonsense. I got one message for all of them. Eat my nuts.